Welcome back, guys, to another video. Today I just want to show you what I've been working on. I know I still owe you guys an advanced enemy AI as well as some other requests which I saw on YouTube. I will work on those in the next weeks, so they will come online. It will just take a short while. Currently I'm working on this Game Jam. I've never joined a Game Jam before, so I figured I'll join this Game Off 2020. And Game of 2020, the theme for the game was Moonshot, and I actually like this theme because also my daughter has been liking rockets a lot, and I figured I'll make a small rocket game. And so I made here a rocket, and I created the whole rocket controller with a lot of different features to flying it to the left and right, to add force. So I will show you this in a short while. The rocket controller, and I might also make a separate tutorial as on how you could make such a rocket. And what I did else is I didn't want to create everything new because of the time limit. I only have November, and of course I just have a full-time job as well. So I just wanted to use assets which I already had and just make a fun game out of it. So let's have a short look at it. So the first thing you'll notice is that we have some cool camera transitions. I also worked a lot on a little bit lighting, some particle effects, also the sound system controlled by certain areas. I implemented, of course, the dialogue system as usual, and as you can see, I used the character from my other game, Emily's Adventure. And I really like this kind of atmosphere with the lights. And then just here, just want to show you what the idea is behind the game is that you get into the rocket and then you have a nice camera transition and you have to find, let's say, areas to fly to, and you can just move the rocket left to right. The rocket fuel will run out very fast. If it runs out, you'll explode, but if you land it nicely on the next platform, you can get off. And I also added, like, of course, some features, the moving platforms, and the moving platforms now have some particle effects as well, and some sound effect, which is pretty cool. And the idea is very simple, that every time you just have to beat a short objective, and then you can recharge your rocket again. There's now the fueling, the lights turn blue, and then you can fly to the next platform, and until you get to the moon. Of course, there are some surprises on the way. Let me just go through it. Of course, not going to show everything. And I also added some areas with some fog. And as you can see, if you run out of fuel, your rocket will explode. Still need to balance this a bit, but I made it very nice that you can just respawn, fly again. And then in this area, I also made some effects. You can see it's like a little bit getting more darker, going towards the final area. I mean, it's a Game Jam game, it shouldn't be too big. Another cool feature which I tried to experience with is this kind of upward force. It's also in Unity, and in general I will just float down slowly, and every time I press space I can boost myself a little bit, and I'm in this kind of flying mode. And of course I put some obstacles in there. Perhaps I should make them bounce me a little bit harder. It's pretty cool, so you can just fly around here, and the moment I get out of the area, the boo will change and the animation will also change like that. It's pretty cool. So I think it looks pretty cool so far, the game, and I'm still working on it a little bit. I'll make one more like area. There I will introduce also some more enemies, and then towards the moon, like the Moonshot. So let's go in Unity shortly and look at some of the things. So some effects, perhaps I can show you this. Let's say do have the background effects. So I have a lot of particle systems in this one. I have the ones for the fireflies, And it's very simple actually. You can look at here. I will scroll through it very slowly so you can copy it easily. The shape, as you can see there, there's no gravity. And the main thing I do is, of course, I blend them in and out. External forces, yes, even though it's not really necessary. And mainly with noise, I move the particles. And then for the stars, if you go there, oh, maybe not that one, in the clouds, maybe not a good example. So the stars are actually very similar to the fireflies, but there's no noise, they have no gravity, and they just spawn in different colors and different sizes. Then you have this nice effect, which is pretty cool. And for the lights, perhaps this is also something we should have a look at. Let's have a look at one of those lights which I made, and it's actually just a sprite of a light. And what I did was I have a point light shining down, and I also have like shadow volume. Yes, and of course I always animate the light to give the intensity up and down. I have the point light, and I've got a freeform light, which is this one. Yes. And also here again, the shadow intensity should be high. And I also made some local fireflies just flying around the lamp, and just a shorter time of existence. And what I did, I put on the player character. I put here a Shadowcaster 2D. So, and then you can get this kind of shadow effect, which is pretty cool. One more thing, which is also good to know, is this how to change the camera from, let's say, my player to the rocket. First of all, I just use the general get into the rocket. I use the same system which I use in my dialogue system. So if I enter a certain trigger, I just make a picture get on rocket available. And what I did is I tagged the rocket itself with a rocket tag. So it has, let's say, another tag as the player, and I made sure they cannot collide. Otherwise, I would run into the rocket and I bounce it off. That would be kind of stupid. So I made sure of that. And then getting in and out of the rocket, what I did was to set the camera. And what I did is I just deactivate the whole player. So the character, I just deactivated by set property. I'm not sure what this is. Ah, the stats. Right, of course, this is in the user interface. So I also turn off the stats. And then I use the virtual camera set priority. So these are the Cinemachine. There's a Cinemachine package in the ecosystem. Please have a look at those. And in those, you can set up different cameras. So what I did was I set a couple cameras. Where are my cameras? Somewhere. Let's see. There we go. So we have a main camera always. Then there's a rocket camera, a play camera, and a start camera. And then the start camera, I just made sure that it's like the whole screen. Like this. That's how we start. And the rocket camera will only follow the rocket. That also has like a different size. And now you have here a priority in your virtual camera. And you can change this priority of the play camera. So now the priority is 20 here, the stat camera is 50. But what I do at the start, when I begin the game, I just change the priority. So let me just show this in this rocket, get in our rocket. So you can see here what I do is I set rocket camera priority to 30 and the 30 and of the play camera to 10, and then they will pretty much switch places. And then I active the rocket stats, which is pretty much the fuel bar, which you saw earlier in the game. And then I fly to the other position. And the moment I land here, what I do is I show again only in these areas where you can land. So you cannot land everywhere and get off the rocket, only on these landing pads. And the moment I land somewhere else, I then of course offer the solution of get off the rocket. I set the camera to the player. Yes, and I also disable of course all the movement of the rocket again. And then I activate all the player stats again. And what I do here, where is it? Ah, I'm kind of stupid. I should go to this one because here I have the spawn player. And then what I do is I just set the position of the character on top of here, which is, let's say, a checkpoint. And I just found the locations. So I didn't make it too rocket science. I just added here the coordinates for the right position. And every time I get to another, let's say, platform, I do that when I land there. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so please use that in your games. In general, the rocket was really fun to make. I used there a lot of force. And also, the moment I add force, I have then a sound, and I stop the sound if I don't press, which gives pretty fun effect when flying the rocket. Yeah, and if you saw anything you like, just let me know in the comments, and I can deep dive this a little bit further. If you have some more ideas, if you like what you see, just would be nice to get some comments. And I'll also try to make a tutorial this week. And just stay tuned and see you around. Thank you for watching.